How you doing, everyone? My name is Ryan and this is Ade, and welcome to a special home edition of BoxTalk. Today we're looking at the post-fight reactions to Groves versus Froch. It was a tremendous fight with an unusual ending. Ade, what happened?
First and foremost, we at BoxTalk like to let the dust settle. So the fight was obviously Saturday night. Everyone's been asking us Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on our YouTube pages, guys, when are you going to do kind of post-fight reaction? When are you going to do a post-fight review? And I was like, well, let the dust settle. So we've watched the fight again. You listen to other people's commentating, and then you kind of let the dust settle. And first and foremost, let's just get this straight out of the bat straight away. Fight of the year. British-wise, at least, anyway. We'll look at European, we'll look at world another time, but definitely in terms of Britain, it was a fight of the year. And if it went on even longer, who knows? It could have been fight of whatever. It was that much of a good fight. And all credit has to go to George Groves for it. He made it fight of the year. He said what he was going to do, and he delivered.
I tell you what, yeah. Froch was Froch. He came out, tried to be the aggressor, tried to put the pressure on, yeah, but his psyche must have went straight out the window. Because after Froch dropped him, after Groves dropped him, Groves still went and landed those two punches he talked about, those two right hands. And then the second round, he said, I'm going to bring the back with the jabs. I'm going to push you back. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And exactly what Groves said, he done in the fight. So even after the knockdown, even after being put in situations, psychologically, Froch must have been thinking, wait a minute, everything this guy predicted, he's done. You know what I mean? And someone like Froch, who knows a tough guy, knows the guys are going to go out there and put it on, for him to be told what to be done, out-hustled, out-maneuvered, and then dropped, hurt, and then behind 3 rounds to 1 after round 4, tremendous performance by Grove.
Yeah, you know, one thing, in hindsight, it's a beautiful thing, because look, I predicted Froch, Ryan predicted Froch. I think 99% of the general public, boxing pundits, ex-fighters predicted Froch was going to win. But in hindsight, you look back and you look at kind of what Froch was saying beforehand, and Froch seemed to really go on and on and on about the sparring session they had, which was most people's predictions nearly 2 years ago. George Groves of 2 years ago, i.e. the George Groves that fought James DeGill, isn't the same George Groves I saw on that Saturday night. Ryan asked me about a minute before the fight was due to start, who do you think is going to win? And I don't know why. I said, I think Groves is going to get him, I said. I'm not trying to say I called this one because I didn't. I was Froch all the way. But there's something about me. I looked at Groves' punch power record, and I think I think it was Andre Ward before he fought Rodriguez. He said, you just do not know how good an unbeaten fighter is. Yeah. There's something about an unbeaten fighter. They've not been beaten, so we don't know how good they are. And I think Froch showed everyone that day how good he can be. He didn't just dominate Froch from the jab and from the speed. He dominated Froch at doing what Froch does, which is literally apply pressure, power punches, and so he out-Froch. Yeah. And that's what surprised me more than anything. Now,
again, same thing I said about Groves, whereas you don't know what people say in sparring sessions, but Groves said previously on Sky that my sparring sessions are always bad. They're never good because I'm trying things, I'm testing things out, which is sparring is good for. But he said that I get knocked down, I get hurt, and then nothing works, it doesn't work. It seems to me that Groves' plan is that he goes into sparring and tries these things, but at the same time he's putting together a master game plan. I mean, I don't want to give too much credit for one fight and say he's a master game plan, but that is a tactician to actually tell you what he's going to do and do. That's the biggest smack in the face to anyone. Yeah. To tell someone, look, I'm going to treat you like this, do you like this, and here's what I'm going to do, and then you do it after getting knocked down in sparring, embarrassed in sparring, hurt in sparring by the likes of Eubank Jr.
They say.
I mean,
that's what they say.
This is what I'm trying to say. Well, it's not the fighter, it's the fight that counts.
And even if you want to look at sparring, I mean, David Hayes said it. David Hayes said he spars Groves. So as tough as Froch think he is in terms of power punching, David Hayes spars a heavyweight. George Groves spars a heavyweight in David Hayes. He's used to sparring him. He's used to that speed, the strength, the power, the athleticism. So there's nothing really that he probably saw in Froch that he thought Froch could shove me that I don't see in sparring with David Hayes. But let's go back to the fight very quickly again. I'd say for 6 or 7 rounds, I'm not joking, I've never been so consumed by a fight than this fight. I had Froch winning it easily. In my head, I thought, even though I predicted Groves just before the fight happened, after the first 1 minute, I thought, I saw Groves starting to get readied. Yeah. I saw a couple of jabs starting to come through, and I was thinking, you know what, Froch is just too strong for this kid. Before he landed on Froch to knock him down, he landed a couple of overhand rights, and they seemed to shook Froch up a little bit. Yeah. I think the power, Froch actually felt the power, and I think that almost put him in that shell way before the knockout happened. Yeah.
I tell you what, something one of the people, like one of our comments on YouTube mentioned before, I can't remember his name. He says that if you look at the Groves fight the Froch fight with Kessler, the first one, the Andre Ward fight, and now the last Kessler fight. So if you look up Froch, both of them have slowed down quite a bit. And when you watch a fight and someone's on a high, like Froch was on a high, you seem to miss the finer things. You know what I mean? And people don't realise that Froch was that tad slower, especially with his footwork, where he looked a little cumbersome in the rounds up to round 6 when he started to get into his groove a little. And Groves dominated on that, and saw that. And when Froch stepped in, that's when he threw that overhand right and hit him right on the chin. And if you watch the replay, Froch was out cold. His eyes closed, he went right back like that. And somehow, he hit the floor and woke up. But that was pure timing and experience where Groves saw the floor, saw the element and went for it. He went for it a few or 4 more times in the fight and he couldn't get the same piece of the punch because Froch saw it. But, I mean, hands off to Groves. I'll give you that.
Yeah, look, I hate dissecting someone's career after they've had a loss or after they've had a bad loss. Let's be honest, Froch didn't lose. I think people forget that. He won the fight. We'll talk about that later. But I hate dissecting a career. But when you see what happened to Froch, you almost have to go back and look at past fights and think, was he a bit lucky in that fight? You know, did he? You know, Andre Durrell fight. We all saw that, and that was similar to Groves. Someone with a bit of speed, a bit of punch to him. He caused him problems. Jean Pascal was, it was a close decision. Andre Ward, we saw him lose to. We saw him lose to Michael Kessler the first time. Arthur Abraham, who really is a middleweight, went to points. Glenn Johnson caused him problems. Again, overhand right, went to points. His win that I think's put Froch on this pedestal that he deserves to be on. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking any credit away, but the win that really took him to levels was the Boutte win. You minus that from the record because Yusuf Mack, he's really like heavyweight boiling himself down. You minus the Boutte, and they're all really close decisions. The Abraham was the one that was an easy decision. Jermaine Taylor, really, 10 seconds before the fight, he was going to lose, and he won. I'm not taking anything away from Froch, but when a loss like that happens, when a victory but a loss deep down like that happens, you almost have to dissect the career and look at have we missed something? Are we missing something that George Groves, Adam Booth clearly saw? Did we miss it?
No, I don't think it's that bad. I think you have to be honest and look at the situation. Froch is 36 years old. He's known as being a tough guy with not the best defense. Yeah, he's getting on the years now. He even said he's got maybe 2 or 3 fights left in him. Yeah. So he's not the same athlete or fighter he was before. If you look at Joe Calzaghe, he was known for having a tough chin and being a great fighter. Hopkins put him down in the first round, and then so did Roy Jones in his last 2 fights. That's a sign that the end's coming to come. So it doesn't mean that Froch's powers or his resume wasn't good before. It's just his time's coming.
See,
same thing again. If you look at Bernard Hopkins. He's never been down for nearly 15 years until Pascal put him down.
There's a difference. There's a completely 110 million% difference in the way Calzaghe went down from Jones and Hopkins to the way Froch went down. The way Froch went down, those going downs was almost like a good little sneaky shot. I remember the Bernard Hopkins was a little sneak.
Yeah.
This was Froch. How on earth you got up? To this day, I've watched that fight about 5 or 6 times. And I've counted you out. How you got up, I still do not know. It wasn't a put down, it was a knock down.
Yeah. It was a knock down, but I'm just saying that he's getting older. And I'm trying to say the reflexes. I think the reflexes are not as sharp as it was previously, and he got caught. As an older fighter, do get caught. Yeah. It happens more and more as they get older. They've had a run at chin, but they get put down.
Yes, I agree with that. I think the thing that you got to look at for Froch, and this is my concern with Froch. I don't think I've ever seen a fighter. I'm trying to think of a fighter. Maybe the Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward days, and even those guys, because those guys are not known as power punchers. Groves definitely is with his record. His KO record is about 78%. So that to me, that puts you on a level of a power puncher. You cannot take. I'd probably count it, and I watch it again. I have to watch it again, but I think it was about 40 to 50 clean overhand rights in a fight. And remember, we're not talking a full 12-round fight. We're only talking 9 rounds. And Groves really went quiet 8 and 9. So we're talking in 7 rounds. We're talking about 50 shots. That's not good for anyone. No. I mean you say he's old. That will age you 5 or 6 years more. Yeah. And that concerns me for Froch going forward.
It concerns me, but I think Froch is at a different stage in his career right now, where, like I said, he said he's got 2 or 3 fights left. I think he's not saying he's going to. I don't think it's time for him to cash out. But I think for him, he needs to look at where he's going with his career now. And we'll touch it after him looking at a breakdown of the fight a little bit more. But does he really need a rematch? If you've got 2, 3 fights left in your career and you're having tougher fights, he could easily go for a legacy fight with Andre Ward, which is not a bigger puncher, so it's and mostly make as much money or more than the Groves fight, and that's how that feels personal to him because he won the Groves fight on paper, so you don't have to take it again. The Kessler fight, mostly the best fight for him is a rematch, and it's a fight he knows he can win. Does he really have to take Groves again?
You know what? I think that he does, and the reason I think he does is because of what you said, and it's the word that begins with L, and a lot of fighters seem to use it towards the end of the career, legacy. Yeah. If it was a case of Groves just came in, was offered the fight, there wasn't all this hype talk between them, wasn't all this build up, this aggressiveness, this animosity between each other, and Groves was just a mandatory person, which he was, and they had a fight and it ended like that, not really. Everything he said about Groves, everything Groves said about him, Groves proved it to us. Groves proved everything Groves said, he proved. Unfortunately for Froch, everything Froch said, he didn't prove. See, I think for him, I mean, come on, think about yourself.
Froch is a man of pride.
Think about the pride. For him to be, he'll be, although, you know, all the post-fight interviews, he said, look, I won the fight. Froch being the Froch that we know, that's killing him. That fight there is killing him.
I agree. Froch is a man of pride. It will hurt him. He wants to do more, and he wants to do a better thing. But as you got to understand, we always mentioned before, boxing is a business. Yeah, he's coming to the end of his career. He's got 2 kids. He's got his wife at home. He doesn't have to pick and choose these fights. There's been loads of controversial decisions before where the fighter just moved forward. Yeah,
there's controversial decision, but I don't think
you've got to look at the situation. Whereas as a business point for Froch and as a fighter, why put himself in situations where he don't have to? I'm saying as a fighter, he wants to do it, but he doesn't have to.
He does to me, and I'm going to disagree with you. There's no way on this earth, and I mean it 110%, that the Kessler fight or the Ward fight make more money than a Groves rematch. It's impossible. This fight alone, so the pay-per-view numbers are going to come out soon. There is no way the rematch ain't going to be doubling more money than this. It's a British fight. It's the same promoter. There's going to be no problems with that. It'll be easily made. Wembley, they're talking. It makes much more. No one really wants to see a Kessler fight. And the Ward, I don't want to see Ward fight.
I'm not saying I want to see it. As a fight fan, I want to see the Groves fight rematch. But I'm saying from a business perspective, from a legacy perspective, he doesn't have to necessarily go for Groves. He could go for a unification with a Black Sacker Beaker. He could go, and he could go and, like I said, try to avenge the Ward loss. He could do other things. If he wants to leave on a win and leave with his titles intact, as a business move, and as a fighter coming down to his end, it's down to him really. At the end of the day, he's got the win on his record. It might be tainted by what people are saying, but he's got the win.
Yeah, but
that's what counts.
It's a win, but it's not a win in terms of like a Calzaghe Hopkins type win, which is everyone's like, I thought Calzaghe took that, Hopkins took it. This is a win, but this is a younger kid that he said he was going to smack around, that he put down in sparring, that, you know, you're a little boy, you shouldn't have even been given the IBF title shot, you kind of got pushed up by Eddie Hearn, you're not really around the top 10, you've not really fought anyone, I'm down in round 1, what's going on, this guy's beating me for 7 or 8 rounds. I think him, and knowing him, I think he underestimated George Groves, and I think that a rematch has to happen. No. It has to happen.
Like I said, I think it could happen, but like I said, that old phrase, talk is cheap, At the end of the day, it's what makes money, which makes sense. And I'm looking at Froch's career, where he stands right now, that you always hear older fighters say, why am I going to fight the young pretender? He fought the young pretender, nearly lost to the young pretender, but he got the win. Would he, or does he have to really rehash it when loads of other great fighters or previous have just walked forward and left it in the past?
Yeah, but you talk about, okay, he could potentially fight Andre Ward, he could potentially fight Mikhail Kessler, he could potentially fight Sacker Beaker, which no one would want to see. Let's be real about this.
The unification match will help him in himself.
You say that, but
let's look at another angle quickly. Let's look at the stoppage. What did you think? Do you think the stoppage was justified? Was it too soon, or was it just right?
The stoppage was it was almost, and this is why I feel so sorry for the referee, Howard Foster, is it?
Yeah, Howard Foster.
It was almost a second too early. I watched that fight 4 times back. Groves was out of it. I don't care what anyone says. People are going to argue me. You're going to leave your comments below. You're going to say, dare you chatting rubbish. Groves fell into Howard Foster. Howard Foster did not grab Groves off. He didn't grab him off with a headlock. Groves kind of almost fell into that headlock and went. And then when he went, it was like that. It kind of looped down, hit the ropes, came back, banged off the ropes, and then he was like, well, what's going on? Every fighter does that. 100 fighters have been stopped, and then they started screaming after. Defend yourself at all times. If you're not defending yourself at all times, he's got a chance of stopping. Yeah. Froch hit him with about 3 or 4 clean shots. Groves was getting tired from round 7 or 8 or 9.
There was a shot that ran his head up, and he came down and got caught another one, and that's what done it. I feel sorry for Howard Foster a little bit, where I agree it was maybe a fraction premature, But you know, the referee's main job is to protect the fighter. You get a ref rule book. The first rule is protect the fighter at all times. And as a referee, once he's made that call and put his hand in and jumped in, he can't really jump back out and say no, carry on fighting. Then we'll say, oh, what he's done, whatever. Once he's made that call, he saw the head go up, he made that split-second choice, put his hand in and called it. And that was a choice. He might have regretted it 20 seconds later, an hour later, but at that particular moment in time, he thought it was the best thing for the fighter. What's next then? What are we looking at? Where does Groves go? Where does Froch go? Overall.
Look, it's weird. Okay,
without the rematch.
Groves is the one that wins everything here. Groves might have the loss on his record. People might be saying that. Froch, unfortunately, is a loser on all parts here. Although Froch has the win on his record, people have now started questioning Froch massively. Froch had this massive lineup of fighters ready for 2014. It included Beaker, it included Kessler, it included GGG, it included Chavez Jr., it included Andre Ward. Unfortunately for now, that door's been shut completely until we know what Froch is going to do. George Groves, although he lost, and I think he was going to lose, he's almost been saved by Howard Foster. People might say, boo, that's not possible. Yeah. Howard Foster stopping that fight. Yeah. If Froch was to knock George Groves out, we probably would have been doing a preview show. Yeah. It would have been simple, you know what I mean? Groves was almost saved himself by the referee stopping that fight. That split second too early, it was almost giving Groves a chance of a rematch. It almost gives Groves a chance against Stieglitz. Arthur Abraham wants a piece. James DeGale wants a piece. He's now box office.
I do feel Froch was on the rise in that fight and Groves was clearly slowing down.
Yeah.
The way Froch couldn't get his hands on Groves for the first 6 rounds. From rounds, say, 6, 7, 8, he started getting hands, started cornering more and more and more and more. And if you look at Froch's knockouts, most of them come within the ropes, and that's where Froch was catching him all the time. Remember, it was round 9. You still got another quarter of the fight to go.
Early in round 9 as well.
Another quarter of the fight to go. Round 10, that round 11, that round 12, I don't really think I saw Groves going to point.
Championship rounds, they call it.
Yeah. But in saying that, that's no shame away from Groves. Groves, like I said, Groves put in a tremendous performance, and straight after the fight, I told Adi, I think I made Groves top 5 in the world super middleweight. Adi still weren't too sure about that, but I can't see another way. Froch was clearly number 2 super in the world. There was no disputing that, and literally Groves handed him his ass.
You know, there's a phrase that that I took to boxing when I started following boxing years ago, and Ryan kind of pushed that phrase back in my mind. Styles make fights. It's probably the most unused phrase, but it's probably the most important phrase in boxing. Styles make fights. And the people that are kind of this, if you like, the god of this, are promoters and managers. Promoters and managers should clearly see the matchmakers to clearly see that, wait a minute, George Groves could cause this kid a problem. Yeah. Not because he's ranked higher or because he's stronger. He has a style that Froch does not like. Who does Froch fight next? What does Froch do?
I honestly and truly, I like you. I think Froch will take the rematch, but I don't think he needs a rematch. Like I said, he's got other options, and like I said, as a champion coming to the end, yeah, he could easily call it a day. When you look back at someone's career, 5, 10 years from now, the Groves fight is going to be a tiny blip of people's records. You don't see people mention when Kazagi got knocked down by Hopkins and Roy Jones. They talk about Kazagi's fight with Miguel Kessler. Yeah, same thing with Froch. Down the end of the line, no one's really going to count this match. No one really counts that people. Remember, maybe people said that Mayweather lost to Castillo 13 years ago, 14 years ago. That fight is not even mentioned by any Mayweather fan or even any TV show no more.
You know why?
What I'm trying to say is part of history. No. It's one blimp, one small part of a whole career.
No, it only matters, and this is what I think Ryan's maybe. It only matters when you're fighting a fellow countryman. Every single person on this world talks about Nigel Benn Eubank first fight. Yeah. Everyone does. Yeah. Not many people mention the second fight was a draw. Every single person talks about Nigel Benn Eubank.
People remember, but it's not going to be the be or end of his career. That's it. It's the big story right now, and it's the big one. But what will happen is 6 months, a year from now, it's going to be the small part. They will say, Groves ran Froch close.
Yeah,
that's what they'll say. They say he got close, but he had no cigar. Okay. That's what they'll say.
But guys, look. What do you think? Are we overreacting? It was only a tough fight. At the end of the day, he won the fight. He stopped him in round 9. Call it what you want to call it. Hal Foster stopped the fight early, but look, George Groves is out on his feet and Carl Froch gets the KO. He won. He beat the kid in the 9th round. So are we overreacting? Is Froch still got the GGG fight, the Andre Ward rematch, the Beaker fight, the Kessler, number 3? What do you think? Or is Groves the real deal? He says he's the top 5 super middleweight. I'm not quite sure, but he's box office now. We know that for sure. He's got big fights in 2014 as well. Guys, leave your comments below. This is a big one. We told you this would be a big fight. It exceeded all expectations. all scales of anything. But guys, leave your comments below. Email us at
BoxTalk@hotmail.co.uk.
And guys, thanks for tuning in for a special home edition of Box Talk. Thanks again.